All right, so hello everybody. Once again, Mike Honcho from the Mod Nexus, Skyrim, New Vegas Mod Nexus. And I want to do another little tutorial here on Sortomatic, the awesome Modders Resource and inventory management system by Tuna is a Fish and Gribble Snippet 8. Thanks to you guys for creating this resource. I've really fallen in love with it now that I've gotten the hang of a few things. A different tutorial I did was a little walkthrough on how to use the system in the game and set it up in your player home to actually sort your gear. This one's going to be a little different. This is going to be centered around the G.E.C.K and how to actually build your player home using the Sortomatic Modders Resource. So in terms quickly of setup, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because this should be, should already be set up. Obviously, you're going to need the Sortomatic Modders Resource from the Nexus. Of course, you'll need the G.E.C.K installed as well. Should go without saying. But another program or another mod that I highly recommend for the G.E.C.K is this G.E.C.K 1.4 Power Up for Fallout New Vegas, or G.E.C.K 1.4, whatever that is. Latest version 0.1.7.3. The original G.E.C.K that came out with the game was missing some stuff. There were a lot of, I guess, error messages and things like that that would not display if you had something wrong with your scripting and so forth. So just trust me on this. You're going to need this utility, especially if you're going to be getting into any kind of more, I'd say intermediate to advanced modding. You're going to need this. So just trust me. Get that. And of course, you're also going to need the New Vegas script extender. So again, Sortomatic Modders Resource. Go ahead and get the G.E.C.K power up. Get that installed and your New Vegas script extender. So that's pretty much it in terms of setup. So let's go ahead and dive on into the G.E.C.K. Okay, so with the G.E.C.K opened up, we will go ahead and load our plugin. For these purposes, I have already created a little Sortomatic tutorial plugin. I will assume that you all already know how to make a basic plugin, a blank plugin, and also create a basic cell. Either most of the time you're just going to do that by copying an existing cell and emptying it all out and start from scratch. So I'm not going to do a tutorial on that. If you do not know how to do those things, go ahead and go through the basic tutorials that you could find on the G.E.C.K either at the official Bethesda website or on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and set my tutorial file as active and load it up. Okay, so we have the plugin loaded now, and I want to go to my cell. I just created a basic cell. I took one of the schoolhouse, Nellis Schoolhouse cell, and just duplicated it and removed everything but just your basic stuff. I left some lights in there so we could see what we're doing when we go inside and take a look once we actually load everything up in the game. So this is just going to be basic. I am not going to go through and teach you how to build your own player home and clutter it and decorate it and do all of those things. I'll leave that to yourself. This is basically going to be how to set up the Sortomatic system. The Sortomatic system basically uses two main components, and that is an activator and all of your containers that make up the system. Everything is prefixed by the word tuna, hence Tuna is a Fish, who originally did all the scripting and everything for it. So either under your activators or either your containers, everything will be prefixed with tuna. So it makes it real easy to find all of your assets. Now, to get started, you're going to need three main components that make up the brains, if you will, of this system. Those will be your IQM, or Inventory Quota Manager, your MSC, which is your Master Sorting Computer, or Master Sorting Control, or Master Sorting Container. There are actually three different names for the for the MSC, and then you will also need a homeless container. And all of those items are conveniently, again, filtered under the prefix of tuna. So let's go ahead and start with your activator. There will be only one activator, and that will be your IQM, or Inventory Quota Manager. Several different types. If you expand this out and look at the models that tuna use, you've got a nice little variety of everything from just a on-off switch to little control panels and so forth. The one I like to use for the most part, this one is a pretty good one. Get my ground plane off here, and let me find it here. This one. This is the one I'm going to be using for this particular example. So that is tuna SC IQM00. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to go over here to this wall, hide my lights, and I'm going to go ahead and hide that light there. So let's go ahead and just hide them all, get them out of the way. All right, so what we're going to do is pick our IQM, and we're going to drag it off into our cell and sort of position it where we want it to go. Turn my snap to grid on so I can turn it around and just sort of roughly get it into place there. Based on sort of where the windows are, that looks like pretty good position, maybe a little bit lower here. All right, so that is going to be our Inventory Control Manager, or Quota Manager. I have a habit of calling that control, but it's quota, IQM, Inventory Quota Manager. All right, the next thing we're going to need is going to be your master sorting computer. So click on your containers, and you can sort by name. And as you see here, you have several different varieties. You've got master sorting cabinet, master sorting chest, master sorting computer, master sorting control. Essentially, all these are containers. All right. Basically, Tuna just created a new container and used the NIF, or the model, for this wall terminal, computer terminal, as its model. So it's essentially just a container, like a locker or a metal box, or a trunk or a suitcase or what have you. All right, that's going to be the one that I'm going to use. Let's get in a little closer here. And we're going to drag this terminal off and put it in our cell. Get him turned around there and roughly positioned kind of where we want it. And again, I'm not going to take a tremendous amount of time in terms of getting everything, exactly beautiful. I mean, as long as I'm not clipping through the wall here, I'm pretty decent shape on that. So now, the last thing we're going to need is a homeless container. You have several different varieties of homeless containers. You could put a homeless container for weapons, miscellaneous apparel, ammo, aid, so that it actually sort any homeless weapons into there, miscellaneous items into there, apparel, ammo, and so forth. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to put your basic generic homeless container. I'm going to use this trunk, the metal trunk right there. All right. So just drag him off, turn him around, and I need to scale that down a little bit. And I'm just going to slide him right under there. I like to keep my three main components sort of in proximity, fairly close proximity to one another, just because it just makes more sense to me. That's your brains of the system, and these will be the three things that you will be using the most often. So it just makes sense to me that I come in, hit the IQM, sort all my gear. If I need to retrieve anything, I can go to the MSC, pull it up and filter it based on what I want to look for. And then if I'm right there, I could check my homeless container to see what went into it that maybe I don't have a default destination set up for. So you could put these however you want to. You could put the IQM on one side of the room or on one side of your house. You could put the MSC somewhere else in your space, and you could put the homeless container wherever you want to. So these are just, like I say, this is a quick tutorial to show you how to set this up. But these are the three main things that you're going to need. You have to have these in order for this system to work. Now, the next thing you're going to need is all of your slave containers. These are going to be all of the containers that you will set your default destinations for all of your gear to go in once you get the system set up in game. Now, if you look and sort everything in your containers list, you'll see that everything is prefixed, and you'll be looking for these with the S in brackets in front of the container. So just to get started, I am going to look for lockers. So we'll go ahead and just drag one of those off into there. Now, one other thing I will mention, there is apparently a set of Opal files that you can install and pull up the Opal menus instead of having to, do it in the object window here. Personally for me, I never cared that much for using the Opal files myself. You may like them. I guess I'm just more, old school. May take a little bit longer. Personally, I don't think that it does, because by the time you load the Opal, pull up the one you want to need, and it loads, and then you find what you need, it's just as quick for me to just click over here on my containers and look down through the list and find the one that I want. For the purposes of this tutorial, I am going to use several different lockers. I'm going to use a couple of the metal cabinets and some other stuff as well. So this is probably a good point here to go ahead and just save real quick. I like to save often, not only when I'm playing the game, but also when I'm using the G.E.C.K as well. You never know when it might just basically give you the finger and crash on you. It does happen. Okay, so with this locker dropped off into here, go ahead and duplicate it, slide it over. Duplicate it, slide it over, duplicate it, slide it over, and that's about all I'll be able to get on that side. And what I want to do is just go ahead and select all four of these, duplicate it again, take my snap to grid off, and so that's a decent start. One thing that I try to think about now that I'm learning this system is how many containers I need. With the basic setup, if you use it kind of like I walked through in my tutorial on the after school special Sortomatic, using the weapon skills and the basic setup that you have for sorting your apparel and things, roughly 8 to 10 containers will handle your weapons and apparel. Then a few more for ammo and so forth, but we'll get into more of that as we go through. I really could use one more, I think, on either side. So I'm going to slide these over just a little and duplicate this one. Yeah. All right, not clipping good. This one looks like it'll probably clip. So slide these over just a hair. Duplicate. I turn my snap to grid off, but you see where I'm getting at. All right, so now I've got 5 containers basically over here that I'll use for weapons, 5 containers over here that I will use for apparel. All right, now let's talk about ammo. All right, for the ammo, and again, this is just me, and just for basic, tutorial purposes here, I'm going to find this one. I like it because it's got the little holes there that I can put metal boxes in. So we'll drag that one off, hit F to set it on the floor. turn it around the right direction, and we'll just go ahead and slide it up against this wall over here. All right. One thing I didn't mention, if you pull up the base object of all of these containers, you'll see that it's prefixed with the S. I think that stands for slave, but they all have the tuna SC, SLV, which is where I think it means slave. So tuna S for Sortomatic, C, I'm not sure what that is, but slave SCR, script. All right. So that's the nuts and bolts of the scripting that is already on these containers. You don't have to do any scripting with this system whatsoever because it's already done for you. All right, so now let me find my metal box, and should be that one. Let's go ahead and get one of those in here. All right, and it's too big to go in that hole. All right, so I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Usually a 7 will get us what we need. And hit F to set it right there on the ledge like it needs to go. Alright, so pretty good. Duplicate. Use your Z key. Set your Z axis and drop it down. Duplicate again. I'm just using Control D to duplicate. Drop it down. And Control D again. And set this one. Just double check, make sure they all settled properly. Alright, so there's ammo set up. I'm going to show you something here in a minute about these weights here in the center. Well, let's go ahead and do that now. If you sort your categories by weight, don't ask me how it works because I don't know. But the way this system works, at least in part, any of these containers that have a predefined weight, somehow in the scripting, it tells it if it has a weight of 300 or whatever things to put in that particular container. I know, for example, if you just use a regular safe, let's go ahead and put one of those in. I know that your money will automatically be set to go into that safe. Again, that's something in the internal scripting. I do not know exactly how that is done. I just know that it is done. I know if you put in, let's say, a pristine vending machine, it will automatically sort your Nuka-Colas into that vending machine. If you put in a Sunset Sarsaparilla, where is it? Sunset right here. If you put in a Sunset Sarsaparilla machine, your Sunset Sarsaparillas will automatically go into that vending machine without you having to set up default destinations. Again, I don't know how it works. I just know that it does work that way. So I'll go ahead and put those two in there. What else are we going to need? Let's put a few, just a few foot lockers. Need a shelf here. That one. Alright, we'll put a couple of foot lockers on that. So we'll resort by tuna. Then go back to our containers. Sort by name. And find foot locker. Roughly get that in position. Looks good. Duplicate. There we go. Duplicate. Settle that on the shelf. Alright, so there's just a couple of foot lockers there. Let's see what's next. Let's go ahead and talk about the crafting stations. We'll just go to this side for that. Alright, the crafting stations are also part of your containers. Alright, and you'll just have to look through and find them. Let's see. Workbench right here. And that's one of the beauties of this system, is that these are also containers. So all of your gear will sort into those. And reloading bench is here. And for this one, let's use the crafting barbecue. Crafting barbecue, here we go. I like this one. Grill. Alright, so there's all three of our crafting stations. Workbench, reloading bench, and our crafting barbecue. Let's go ahead and move our ammo over here. Kind of blocking the window, but who cares? It's just a tutorial. Alright, and let's go ahead and maybe you might want a couple of extra containers here around your workbench. Just me personally, I like to use the toolboxes for that. They fit under there really nicely. Alright, so just grab the tuna toolbox, drag it off in here, turn it around, and settle him down. I like to scale them down a little bit so they fit a little better. And you can duplicate it. Put you another one over there. Duplicate it. Drop it down. Duplicate it. Drag it over here. So this is a little overboard on the storage because all of your crafting stuff will go into the main workbench container here, but you know, you might have some other things that you might want to put in their own separate containers, and you can set DDs on them, and that kind of stuff can go wherever you want. So we've got a pretty good assortment of containers. We have a bunch of lockers. We've got our basic container workbench plus a few extras if we need them. We've got some containers we can use to put our ammo in. We've got the container that serves also as your reloading bench. Just an extra container here for miscellaneous items if we want to use it for that. We could put our crafted aid in that. We could put other aid items because anything, again, because these three crafting stations are containers themselves, anything that can be crafted by them automatically goes into those containers to begin with. So it's one of the beauties of this system. We've got a couple of extra foot lockers over here if we need them, and a couple of vending machines that again will automatically sort your Nuka-Cola and your Sunset Sarsaparilla into them, and a safe that we can put our money in. Let's go ahead and drag a desk off in here too. Alright, so we'll just put it kind of over here. Slide that over. Alright, so that is a very good variety of containers. Whoop, get on the ground. Thank you. Alright. Alright, so essentially, folks, this is it. There's no other scripting involved. Nothing really in terms of setup that you really need to change. The only thing really, if you did want to change is, say, for example, the Nuka-Cola machine here, okay? If you look into its settings, the weight is set at 298. Well, let's say if you wanted to have a Nuka-Cola machine or a pristine vending machine that didn't have a weight set, which would mean that nothing would go into this container by default. Again, the way it's set up now is that the Nuka-Colas will go into this machine by default once you tell the system to actually sort Nuka-Cola. But let's say you didn't want that. Well, really what you would really want to do is just go in and rename this, like usually put like a 01 after it, or put, you know, your own name or whatever, and make a copy of it, and then remove this weight or set that to 0.0000, and then you would have your own new version of this that's already got the script on it, and it would not have any weight, so therefore it would not be automatically set to sort items into. But that's just a couple other things that you can do. You could essentially take any one of these containers. For example, I'll give myself a shameless plug that I will be releasing very soon a mod that I think I'm going to entitle Sync-O-Matic. And what the Sync-O-Matic mod will do will be to add the Sortomatic system to the sync. In order to do that, I wanted to use that neat little wall safe mod that the sync adds, DLC03. So I had to use the NIF for that wall safe and create my own container to use in the Sortomatic system. Very easy to do. I just pulled up one of the lockers or whatever, made a duplicate of it and gave it that NIF, and that quickly I've got my own container that is modeled however you want to. So that's one of the cool tricks in modding, is that you could take any container and essentially model it into any other looking item if you want to. So essentially that's it. So what I'm going to do now is let's go ahead and save, and I will load up the game, and we will COC center on cell into this cell, and we'll show you how everything works. So I'm going to make a cut, and I'll see you in the game. Okay, so here we are in my after school special, my schoolhouse. First I got to have some junk to go and sort so we could test this out. So I'm going to get all my stuff here, retrieve from shelf top. Yeah, let's just take everything. Alright, and take all. Now I'm going to be way overweight, so I'm going to go into God mode so I can move. And good. Hey, Willow, did you miss me? She's mad at me. She won't talk to me right now. I've been off in the big empty, big mountain playing with the brain heads there. Alright, so let's go ahead and I will COC AAA test to get into my cell. And here we are. Actually looks surprisingly good for just a quick throw together. So we'll take a look at everything. IQM, Inventory Quota Manager, MSC, Master Sorting Computer, Homeless Items, and then all of our various lockers. Crafting Workbench. We can use these for ammo. Reloading Bench. Barbecue. And then just more stuff. Alright. So now, if you don't really know yet how to use the system, I'm going to give a quick run through of how to set everything up. We'll go ahead and go to the IQM, because right now it will not sort anything. Configuration. This is where you set it, tell it what to sort. So right now it will not remove any weapons or apparel, but I'm going to change that. Just click on those. Consumable weapons. Will not. Change that to remove. And weapon mods. Not remove, not remove, not remove, back. Alright, save and exit. Alright, now, because I don't have any default destinations set up, I do want to show you how the money and the cola stuff works. So when you come in, process inventory, and this is everything that it's sorting. Alright, so pretty much I've told it to sort everything except for unique items and anything that I have equipped. So everything that I've got over here looks to be like all unique items. Everything over here is just standard stuff. Exit. Now the majority of this stuff just went into the homeless container because there's no DDs set on all of this stuff. However, if we go over here and look at what went in the workbench, open storage, we do have a bunch of stuff in there because, again, that container is set with a weight, and anything that is set with a weight is scripted. How it does it, I do not know, but it is scripted for that to go in there. Same with our reloading bench. Open storage. There's all of our reloading items. Barbecue. Whoop. Open storage. There's all of our crafting stuff. And we should have sunset sarsaparillas in there and Nuka-Colas in here. So this should also, I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe it may take your Nuka Victories and stuff, Quantums and Quartz. No, I'm sorry, I do not believe it does. but I can tell you real quick. Retrieve. Let's look under aid and all aid. And I think I've got some of those. Yep, quartz victories. They are probably in the homeless container. Let me take a look. Just go to aid. Nickel quartz. And the victories may have gone into one of the crafting containers. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. So how do we tell it where to put all this stuff that's in the homeless container now? Very simple. Let's start over here and go up to any locker, any container, go into crouch mode and hit E. And then set DDs. This is going to set the default destinations. Kind of like I did on my after school special, I'm going to do this weapons by skill. And this is going to be my guns. Alright, energy weapons. We'll go ahead and make that unarmed. Melee. And lastly, explosives. And if you notice, each time I set a DD, that category is eliminated from the list. So, guns, energy weapons, unarmed, I believe, in melee, and then explosives. So we're going to do here light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, power armor, and let's go light armor, medium, heavy armor, and power armor, and then headgear and clothing. So set DDs, apparel, light armor, set DDs, medium, heavy armor, and power armor. And again, you can set this up however you want to. It's up to you. This is just basically for the purposes of this tutorial. And then we'll go headgear. And clothing. Alright, so really the only other thing really left is ammo. And we'll do this real quick. Set DD, ammo, and let's just go ahead and go with pistol and rifle in the top one. Shotgun shells, just because it's sort of a stock category. And this system works pretty good for me just by using that. Set DD, we'll go ahead and go with the energy cells. And then lastly, the explosives ammo. Save and exit. Alright, so that pretty much sets up everything to be sorted, I believe. I'm sure there's going to be a few things, there always is. Alright, so get all my stuff out of the homeless container. Go back here, process inventory. We'll see what went where. Alright, there's all our guns. Energy weapons. And this also, energy weapons also governs the big gun skill. You know, if you're looking at it, you know, like for Fallout 3, small guns and big guns. So energy weapons and big guns essentially goes under that same category. This was unarmed, melee, alright, and then explosives, alright, light armor, okay, medium, and you know, you might find something every now and then, like that hazmat suit is listed. It's listed as light armor down in the little menu. That's okay. You can always just take it out. put it over here, hazmat suit, and now the system will remember to put the hazmat suit if you have another one in that container. Heavy armor and power armor. So metal armor, that's definitely heavy, and power armor. Headgear, goggles and helmets, and then clothing. Just your standard non-unique clothing. Alright, and let's check our ammo. Guns, ammo, and rifles and pistols. Shotgun, energy, and then explosive ammo here. Didn't set anything to go in that. That's just left open. We didn't set anything to go in here. Let's see what else is still in the homeless container. Still a few things. So basically, just by process of elimination, you can go in and take what's left in the homeless container. Essentially, kind of when I'm all said and done, essentially the only thing that's left going in the homeless container ends up being just useless clutter, crap like pencils and clipboards and different things. Let's take a look at the desk. Okay, there's no default destination set up on that. What I would normally do with the desk is set that up like this, set DDs, miscellaneous, and put my magazines and skill books in there. Back, save. So with the safe, it should already be set up to take all of our money. And if you ever want to change that, you can remove the DDs. I recommend you take your stuff out of any container. If it's been sorted into and you have gear in it, I would highly recommend you remove that gear before you change the DD. I've had some weird things happen with leaving gear in a container and then changing the DD, so get your gear out of it. Presumably that's because it stores that information. Whether you put it in there manually, by hand, it'll store where you put stuff. It's a smart system. So anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post or leave a comment on one of my mods. And I hope this little tutorial was helpful in getting some folks started using this system more and more. It's a great sorting system. Once you get the hang of everything, it's very, very simple. But man, it's really functional. I really like it. So anyway, I hope you do too. And y'all take care.